It is January 15th, 1974. You are in the gymnasium of an island, listening to a man read aloud from a piece of paper. He has just told you that in 3 months, you and everyone you know will be gone. You live on Hashima. It is the most crowded place on Earth. 5,000 of your neighbors live on a rock the size of 3 football fields. Your wife was born here. Your 6-year-old daughter learned to walk in your hallway 4 floors up, where the footsteps echo because the walls are thin. This is the last 95 days of your home, compressed into 7 days. By day 4, your daughter will help spell goodbye in the dirt of the school playground. By day 7, you will be the last family on the last ferry to Nagasaki. 50 years from now, she will sit in a museum and look at a photograph of the apartment where she took her first steps. 100 years from now, the apartment will not exist. Day 1. It is January 15th, 1974, a Tuesday. You are in the gymnasium because everyone has been asked to be in the gymnasium. A man in a Mitsubishi uniform stands at the front. He's holding one sheet of paper. He reads from it carefully and without pausing. The mine is closing. Oil is cheaper than coal. The decision has been made in Tokyo. You will all need to leave. The company will help you relocate. You have approximately 3 months. The room is quiet. You can hear the sea outside, hitting the wall. Nobody protests. Nobody is angry. Most of you have known this was coming for years. The coal industry has been shrinking since the late 60s, and many of your friends have already been retrained and sent to other Mitsubishi sites on the mainland. The news isn't the strange part. The strange part is the date attached to it: 3 months. You walk back to your apartment through the narrow concrete corridor. You pass the bakery, the public bath. The children are inside the school. They don't know yet. Your daughter is at home. She's 6. She's sitting on the floor of your kitchen, drawing a picture of a fish. You tell your wife the news. She doesn't cry. She nods once and starts opening cupboards. Day 2 is your first week. You're learning how much can be packed into a single small apartment. The apartment is 2 rooms, one for sleeping, one for everything else. A tiny kitchen, a balcony 2 meters wide that faces north, toward the sea, away from the typhoons. There's a small Buddhist shrine in the corner, a television set you bought in 1968, a rice cooker, your wife's wedding kimono, wrapped in paper in a wooden box under the bed, your daughter's rando seru, her small leather school satchel, hanging on a hook by the door. You begin to make decisions about objects that have not been decisions before. The shrine, yes. The kimono, yes. The television? Perhaps not. The refrigerator? No. Your neighbor across the hallway is doing the same thing. You can hear her opening her cupboards. The walls are thin enough that you have, for 15 years, known when she boils water, when she scolds her son, when she sings to herself on the days she thinks no one is listening. By the end of this week, 15 families on your floor will be doing exactly what you're doing. By the end of the month, 200 more. Tonight, your neighbor sings. You pretend not to hear. Day 3 is your second week. The first families have started to leave. There's no formal schedule. The ferry comes every day, the same as always. People board it with their belongings tied in cloth bundles and their children clutching small things. The ferry leaves. It comes back the next day empty. 16 families left this week. 40 more will leave next. You begin to notice the absences. The bakery has fewer customers. The public bath echoes a little more. The cinema, which has been open every evening for 30 years, closes its doors at noon on a Thursday and does not reopen. You stand on your rooftop that evening, looking down at the courtyard. Someone planted vegetables in this soil 11 years ago, when the island was at its most prosperous, and the residents wanted, for the first time, to taste something they had grown themselves. The tomatoes still come back every July. You have eaten them every summer of your daughter's life. Next summer, they will ripen on the vine. Nobody will pick them. The soil will dry. The wind will take it. Your daughter is 6. She doesn't know that yet. Day 4 is March 31st. The school closes today. It has been the largest school in any town its size in Japan because Hashima has been, for 40 years, the most concentrated piece of community in the country. There are hundreds of children. Some left last week, some will leave next week. Today, they are all still here. This afternoon, they have walked together to the dirt courtyard between the school buildings. They have organized themselves into the shape of letters. From above, the letters spell Sayonara Hashima. Goodbye, Hashima. Your daughter is in the second letter. She is one stroke of the shape that makes a word. A photograph is taken from the roof. You'll see this photograph one day, years from now. When you do, you'll recognize her by her red coat. She's looking up at the camera. She's smiling. She doesn't know what she's doing. By next week, she won't be able to write this word at any school. The school is over. Day 5 is mid-April. The apartments are emptying, floor by floor. The 4th floor of your building where you live is now half occupied. The 3rd floor is empty. The 2nd floor went last Tuesday. The 1st floor still has the postman who refuses to leave until the last family does. He is 58 years old. He has delivered the mail on this island since he was 19. He will be on the second to last boat. You walk down to the southern end of the island, where the older buildings stand. You walk past the tunnel mouth where the coal used to come up from the sea floor. The shaft beneath you goes a kilometer down beneath the ocean. You have worked at the bottom of that shaft for 15 years, in the dark, in water that drips on you from the seabed above. You stop. Not all of the men who worked in that shaft chose to come here. Before you were born, during the war, Korean men were brought to this island to dig in those tunnels. Many didn't return. Their names are not written on the walls that the children will write goodbye on. You don't say this aloud. You stand for a moment. Then, you walk back. Day 6 is April 19th. Your apartment is empty. You've packed everything you decided to take. You sit on the floor of the room where your daughter took her first steps, and you listen. The hallway is quiet. It has never been quiet before. For 15 years, these walls have carried every footstep and every kettle and every argument of every neighbor you had. Now they carry nothing. The neighbor across the hall, the one who sang on the days she thought no one was listening, left 2 days ago. You didn't say goodbye to her. You didn't know which day she was leaving. Now you never will. Your daughter comes into the room. She's 6. She asks if you can come back to visit. You tell her yes. Many times. She nods, satisfied. She goes to get her randeseru. You sit alone for 1 more minute. Then you stand up. Day 7 is April 20th, 1974. There is a light rain falling. You hold an umbrella over your daughter and your wife as you walk down to the harbor. Your wife is carrying the wooden box that holds her wedding kimono. Your daughter is wearing her randeseru, even though there won't be school for a week. You are the last family to leave. You step onto the ship. You look back at the empty apartment blocks. The buildings are concrete. They were built to outlast typhoons. They will outlast you. 50 years from now, your daughter will be an old woman in Nagasaki. She will go to a museum on the mainland. She will sit in front of a photograph of the apartment where she learned to walk. She will be one of the very last people alive who remembers what those hallways sounded like when there were 5,000 people walking through them. 100 years from now, the buildings will fall. UNESCO has protected the seawall and the underwater mine. It has not protected the apartments. The sea will take them. The footsteps will not be remembered by the stone. For 100 years, Hashima was the loudest place on earth. 5,000 neighbors, footsteps in concrete hallways, gardens on rooftops, a small girl's first words echoing off thin walls. For one afternoon in April, it was the quietest. It will be that quiet now, forever.